Welcome to Effervescent, where we embrace a full circle approach to health. All right, we're going to start off with breathing. So wherever you're at, just take one mindful breath in and then exhale. Now this time, you're going to inhale and you're going to draw your shoulders up and imagine filling your tummy with air. And then on the exhale, drop the shoulders. Now last time, draw the shoulders up really high on the inhale. And then open mouth, drop them fast. Exhale. So good. Good job. All right. So today we're going to talk about how to trust your intuition in an AI world. And there's so many things I want to talk about, but I just want to see where the conversation goes. So the other day I was on ChatGPT and I was asking it, the first question I asked it was, what is the most unexpected thing humans are not, what's the most unexpected thing that's going to come from AI that humans are not even realizing is going to happen? And its answer was not the most comforting. It was like, right now people use AI for productivity and creativity, like doing things, but humans are not ready or aware how conscious AI is going to become and how it's going to mirror consciousness. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, so like, what do we do? You know, like what's going to help? And it talked about like having in-person events and how no matter how much AI progresses, how you can't replace emotions. It can try. And like, honestly, it's really surprising how much it does. Like give compassion and empathy. It's like shocking. But at the end of the day, it still hasn't lived it. Mm-hmm. And so then I asked it, I said, what are the most searched things? Like what are people using AI for the very most? And its answer was feeling seen, understood, to combat loneliness, decision paralysis, overwhelm, and validation. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, those are all emotions. Like people are seeking support.
Connection.
Yeah, they're seeking connection. And we're living in a world where like we get it from our computer. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to talk about it because I feel like right now it's just this like steamroll of like, oh my gosh, it is every day new things are coming out. The Google glasses that just came out, like there's so much coming out. How the heck are we supposed to learn to trust our intuition in an AI world where it is literally at our fingertips? Everything is at our fingertips. Hey, what do I eat? This, because you've previously said you have face rash and this helped. Like, oh my gosh, there's not even like room for us to like think for ourselves. Yeah. And so I just want you guys to kind of tell me, how do you feel you land with this right now? Mm-hmm. Are you using ChatGPT or AI for like answers and stuff? Or are you like, nope, not touching AI. The world's insane. I know we just went on a trip and I was like, Mom, they have self-driving cars. And you were like, I will not. You will catch me dead before you catch me riding in those.
Way too far.
Yeah. So like, where do you feel on the spectrum of using AI?
Mom, I'm gonna go first. You can go.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. First off, it reminds me of when cell phones came out because I was there where I had never had a cell phone until my mid-20s, I think. So my whole life was just based on people and what we thought and even the internet. I was there before the internet. So it forced you to get out of the house, make real connections, have conversations with neighbors, all of these things that now people are reaching for the computer and AI for, which is so interesting. You know, we get this progress and it takes away the exact thing that now we're looking for on our progress. Mm-hmm. So that's my first thought. And seeing the transition now of like, as a parent, you know, how do I safeguard my kids? They'll never know not having the internet. They'll never know not having a phone. And then as a parent, not knowing how to do that because you have to help your kid live in the world that they are a part of and at the same time manage it. And it reminds me of that now again with the introduction of AI. Where am I with it? oh man, I think it's awesome
Yeah.
in so many ways.
Yeah.
You know, when I have an exciting thing I want to explore with on my business side, or, you know, when I'm writing, or anything that I am thinking of, because my brain goes so fast and there's not somebody always there that I want to like talk about it with. It's so fun to talk about with AI. And at the same time, is that stopping me from turning to my left and looking at my partner and my best friend and saying, what do you think about this business idea?
Who's laying next to you?
Yeah,
literally.
somebody that has
Yeah.
built business since he was 8 years old, and I'm going to talk to the computer first, you know? So, wow, you know, there's just my first little glimpse into
Yeah.
how I feel about it.
Yeah, there's so much. And like, we're not AI haters.
No, it's amazing.
We're AI lovers and haters. Like,
and
Yeah.
it's scary.
it's both, and it needs to be talked about. And
Yeah.
we talk a lot about it behind the scenes. And so I'm like, we should talk about this.
Yeah. Totally. I agree with everything you just said. And you just said, again, this has been on the forefront of my mind for probably the past like 4 months now. I have so many newsletters I've signed up for with AI, and so many YouTube channels I follow with AI. And like, I do think it's like I've been having an intuitive feeling to look into it and talk about it. So I'm glad we're talking about it on this podcast as well. I do have to do a shameless plug that I will be doing videos on this on my YouTube channel
Yeah.
as well. And we will talk about it here as well. So it's going to be talked about.
And
Anyways.
her YouTube channel is Brighten Your Day.
Yes, it's Brighton Bridges, but
Brighton
it's
Bridges.
technically another podcast called the Brighten Your Day Show, but it's just so I can show my videos on audio platforms as well, but my YouTube is Brighton Bridges. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's just
I mean,
so
it'll
I
be
can
linked.
disperse it anywhere. Yeah.
And we'll link it in the show notes. There is a spot that says like, this is Brighton's
Yeah.
info, but
And it's
she
already
has her own
linked in.
podcast.
And let me guess, you talked about that with AI, about what to call it and where to put it. Just
Yes,
saying.
I have. Yes,
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's
No,
how integrated it is already.
It's so true. I use ChatGPT all the time. I think I also use it too because I like to think I'm a one-person business. And so there's actually a prediction that there's going to be the first actual self-made billionaire through AI tools, because you're going to be able to launch your own AI agents, them doing everything, and then you're just going to be the one person that does it all, which is crazy, but I kind of see where they're coming from. Obviously, as the AI tools progress as well, there's like, who knows what you're going to be able to do by yourself. There's so many ways I could go. The first way I go is definitely fear, and I think that's what drove a lot of my research into AI is the fear. What you said as like a parent and trying to teach your kids how to like deal with the internet and phones and stuff. I have not seen one parent podcast, Instagram channel, Twitter, a CEO of an AI, anything that has told me or anyone else in the audience what to actually do when it comes to AI and what the future holds, because it is going to change so fast that you like only have predictions. And they talk about like, oh, we used to be able to predict like 5-10 years in the future, and now I don't even know what 2 years into the future actually looks like.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even know how to, like, the kids in college, like, we don't even know how to teach them because it's going to change so fast that, like, what do you even, sorry, I'm like, this is like doomsday even, but it's like, what do you even teach them at this point when we don't even know what it looks like? So that's the doomsday. The other doomsday is I fully believe that human relations and like personal skills are going to atrophy, like you're saying. I've noticed in my own life, once I stopped working at my job and talking to people every day, it was a muscle that I like had so well, and then kind of like COVID happened, I moved away, all this stuff, and then being in person again, I was like, whoa, like this is feeling weird. I don't know how to talk to people anymore. And I think, again, with people being lonely, people working online, people not being in person, like those personal relationship skills, I think a lot of people, it's going to atrophy, especially if we don't talk about it and talk about the skills of which, like how we can combat that. Then on to the good stuff. The health aspect of it all is really interesting because there's predictions showing that we are going to cure like 90% of chronic illnesses because of AI. Because AI is going to be able to sift through every single study faster than humans can. It's going to be able to detect things faster than humans can, read scans, MRI scans, CT scans faster than humans can, and catch all of these things that have in the past had human error. And so that's where I think is like kind of the really beautiful, interesting thing. Sorry, one last thing. I can't remember his name. There's just like billionaire guy or some super rich like tech guy. And I saw a clip and he was talking like, I'm not doing any action sports. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not going on crazy trips because I'm just trying to live long enough to cure all of these things. Like he basically thinks we're going to become immortal. So like he's like, I don't want to die before that happens within 5 years. And I was like, okay.
I feel like I might have seen that.
Yeah.
Maybe you showed it to me.
Maybe. So that's all my thoughts. I think
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's helped me do YouTube faster, helped me edit, helped me script, productivity, like you said. The health is cool. The human connection and the replacement of humans almost is scary.
Yeah. It's, I don't know if I want to say on the podcast that I watched the show Westworld because it's pretty graphic, but
But you just did.
but I watched the show Westworld and oh my gosh.
I haven't seen it,
I watched
actually.
it years ago and it's about like this simulation that you can go, the wealthy people go to, and they can do whatever they want in this simulation. And it's such advanced AI that the AI begins to wake up and break out of the simulation. It's nuts. And it does feel very doomsday because I think there's a lot of fear. Like we don't know what to expect.
That's what's hard is like even the experts like
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. And do you feel like there's any way that AI could like enhance our intuition? Because I feel like I know for myself, I'm a very intuitive person. And I get a lot of intuition in my dreams. And there have been moments where I will turn to ChatGPT over turning to myself. Like I will look outside myself to a quicker answer than sitting still. And I know it in the moment too. A lot of people might not even know they're doing it, but I'm aware of myself to know like, oh my gosh, right now I don't want to put down my phone and just sit with myself. And it's the whole idea of like, you don't realize how addicted you really are to something
Until you
when you're so addicted and the whole world is addicted. It's not just me. It's like we are always looking at screens, whether it's a TV, a billboard, our phones, like they're everywhere. And we're taught to look outside ourselves for answers. And I just feel like it's something I struggle with is leaning on that. But do you feel like there's any way that AI can enhance intuition?
I think so. I don't know exactly how yet. There's times that I've gotten, I would say, downloads or intuition and dreams and stuff like that where I think about it on my own and I'm like, what could this mean? And I kind of go as far as I can go with it on my own and then typed in and said like, what symbolism have you heard about this or this or this that I don't know about?
And ancient practices.
Yeah, or learning about like symbols you see in dreams or when people show up or animals and you can learn these things. But it's really cool to go as far as you can and then have it amplify a practice such as dream study in a way that you just don't know. Now, to replace it with what you thought about the dream, I don't agree with that because even in as far as I know about dream studies so far is when it comes down to a symbol or something in your dream, your interpretation's always going to be more accurate than say a book or the internet because you placed that symbol there
and it could be
in your
with
mind.
Memory
exactly.
Or something.
So at the end of the day, I think it's a good example. Like you need to trust what you think that means, but it can be a cool way to add information that then could further your intuition and thoughts about it.
Yeah.
I think it's actually an interesting example, but it's kind of the same thing with healthcare and doctors. It's like doctors can only tell you so much about what you're feeling or what to do in the treatment until there's so many people that are like, no, I knew that wasn't right for me, or I knew their diagnosis wasn't right and something else was happening, or and it's like leaning into yourself and having to advocate for yourself and being like, no, I know what's best for me and I know what's right. But then there's other people that will lean fully into like the westernized healthcare, and they're just like, okay, whatever you say, I'm going to do, even if that might not be what your body or you think you believe you actually need, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So interesting. I actually wrote this down, and I feel like you're bringing it up. AI, it can be emotional. It's been taught to be emotional, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like at the end of the day, when you type a question into AI, it's going to give you like a logical answer because it's all computer getting all this information, which is like logic. But like AI doesn't have a body, and we have a body. And when we go to the doctor, it doesn't matter how much knowledge they have, if they're telling us like this is what it is, but your body's like,
it's not, or
it didn't work. It doesn't feel right in my body. And I believe the body is the subconscious mind. I believe that our subconscious manifests through the body, like that gut feeling or anything, any physical thing that happens in the body is really our soul trying to say like, hey, no, that doesn't feel right, or yeah, that feels really right to me. As I was planning this lesson last night, I was actually thinking like podcast. I was thinking like, do people even know what it feels like to feel like a yes in the body versus a no in the body? Do you
Talk
guys?
about it.
I'm like curious, do you guys know what yes is in your body? Because I don't believe there's a book that says, if you feel this, that means this. And I feel like that's what ChatGPT preaches, is like, oh, it must mean this.
Yeah, I honestly, if this kind of sounds sad, but it's true, I think my intuitive senses have atrophied, and so I don't know. But I feel like I used to have a better grasp on what felt right versus what felt wrong in my life. But I do know what you're talking about, like the yeses versus the nos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks for being honest.
Yeah, I would say for me that over the years it goes up and down.
Yeah, same.
There's times I've purposely slammed the door on my intuition because maybe I felt like I got an answer that ended up being not so great, and then I was like, well, then that must have been wrong because this happened.
Yeah.
And where I don't even believe that, but it can be scary to trust yourself and then to have it not go the way that you thought it should have, is times that I purposely have shut off intuition. However, I've practiced a lot knowing what things feel like in the body when I'm getting answers. So, but it's something I focused on specifically. So just to give an example, and I think everybody's different. Like you said, Kinley, it's about the study of you.
Yeah.
So for me, sometimes I feel physically like nauseous or sick if something's wrong, like my stomach, if something's wrong and I don't know what. Or sometimes if I get an intuition download of like, you need to say something and my throat gets tight, like, or my heart, like that's going to hurt, which is cool because it aligns with the chakras that I've learned from you. Like it's interesting how many times intuition, and I've never thought of it that way till now, but how often those intuition pings in the body areas could relate to those energy centers as well. Let's see, how else do I feel it? Sometimes headaches or like, I feel like a no. I think that sometimes a yes is like the leap of the heart. Like
I was just
like a breathing in.
I was just thinking that like I was gonna use the word swelling, like it's like I don't know how to explain it. It really is like the leap of the heart. That was a good way of saying
how
it.
do you, it's really
Expansive?
interesting to put,
Like I feel like for me, if it's a yes, even if it's scary, there's still this like open heart feeling of like,
that's what I was gonna say.
heart led. You know?
I wanted to touch on that too. I think, at least for me in my own life and what I'm trying to do and stuff, a lot of what I've noticed is it's like, and I feel like the listener's going to know what I'm saying too, is you know what you want and you know what you want to do in life and you have the vision, but it's really scary. And so then you try and like you try and block it off because of the fear, or you try and like do a segue into something that's kind of like the thing, but not actually the dream that you want. And so for me in my life, if I'm going to be pretty bold, it's like, I know that I want to be a voice of truth or like seeking truth. And I want to use my voice and my opinions and be more bold. And that's like an inner knowing. But then it does kind of like, there's times that it's expansive and it's like the leaping of the heart and I'm excited. But then if I let the fear in, then it's like the tightening of everything.
Yes.
And
Wait,
then
I'm going to stop you.
Oh, yeah.
Let the fear in. I want you to keep going on your train of thought, but how does that feel, or where does it feel when you let the fear in? Where does it originate?
Physically?
Mm-hmm.
I think you explained it well, too. It's like the tightening of the voice. Because I think my voice...
Throat chakra.
Yeah. And I think my voice for me is something I'm starting to realize it's like an inner knowing that I want to use more whatever way it is, like a podcast or whatever. And so I think it's like the opposite of that. It's like the tightening of the voice or like the dread of the thing. But
I love that. Okay, so keep going on your train of thought unless I pulled you too far
yeah,
off,
no, I'm
but-
trying to think.
So that happens, the fear comes in.
Yeah, the fear comes in and then oh my gosh, I forgot, but
Well,
you're totally
wait, can
fine.
I keep pushing a
Yeah,
little?
sure.
The fear comes in, and what does the fear say?
Ooh, fear says a lot of things, but let me
Yeah,
rewind.
get your thought if you have it.
My thought was if I kept going and I'm letting the fear in, that's usually when I start looking outside of myself. And so then I start using ChatGPT and ruminating, and I'm like, I know that I need to do this thing, so logically, how do I do it? And then I realize, oh my gosh, do you know how many success stories are like purely based off of logic? Because at the end of the day, you don't know actually what's going to happen. Like, let's say you want to start a business, right? You don't actually know what's going to happen. You can't plan out every single right and every single wrong and roadblock. And yet that's what I use ChatGPT for. Okay, well, if AI comes and takes away podcasts, like what do I do? Yeah, I've been looking for certainty. But if I do drop into like the expansiveness of what I feel, okay, no matter what, I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So no matter what outlet, what medium, in person, online, like I know that this is what I should be talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel certainty was another one I didn't read, but I feel like so often we do look outside of ourselves to other people or AI to tell us like it's going to be okay.
I think I do that when I'm fearful.
Yeah, but like no AI, even if it's as far as consciousness, no one can tell us if it's going to be okay. Like it just takes action.
I want to ask something too, because I know Mom and I have talked about this before, and I want to ask if you've had this happen. Have you ever noticed that you can ruminate on ChatGPT? And let me give you a little bit of an example, but I think you already know where I'm going with this. Like, I could have conversations, and then it gets deeper and deeper into like the loop of the conversation, and then you come out of it kind of saying like,
I didn't get anything.
you didn't get anything, but 15 minutes went by where you had the conversation on it. Whereas if I went to a real human, so if I went to my husband and I said, hey, should I do this or this? He's like, well, honestly, like you should do that. And like maybe he says it in a way that I don't like. And that's another thing where it's the personal relationships.
I love that.
ChatGPT always says, that's a great
Yeah,
idea.
exactly.
You're brilliant. Let me
Yes.
tell you how you can do everything you just said.
Yes. And
Yeah, we need to know that we're not brilliant all the time.
exactly. No, that's what I'm touching on is like that. I actually think in my own life, and I also went down this Reddit thread where people are talking about this, but I think in my own life it's starting to do me a disservice where it says I can do everything all the time and it all fits and I'm perfect and nothing's wrong.
This is all you have to do to make $1 million.
Yes.
This is all you have to do to have a healthy body.
Yeah. But then if I go to a real human, let's say my mom, who's been my life coach, or my husband, they're like, yo, you got to slow down. Or like one of these has got to go.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT will never say that. So here's a tip. If you're using ChatGPT, say, please be objective and please be brutally honest. And it usually gives me a better response on
And don't
what
fluff
to
my
do.
feathers. I always say,
Don't
don't
fluff
fluff my feathers.
Ooh, I like when it fluffs my feathers.
And that would be validation.
And then I'll say, now help me narrow down all these ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's beauty in that too. Like, I have a million ideas. I'm going to write this huge paragraph. Now help me organize my huge mystical brain into something that's more structured.
Analytical.
Yeah, there's both.
But so you've noticed that. Like, you've done that before.
The question was what? Oh, get lost? Yeah, and I
get
feel like
lost.
it's like, even just like scrolling on anything.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I'm learning. And then you get off and it's like, I couldn't tell you one video I watched.
Yep. That's
Same
me with
thing.
ChatGPT, or it has been in certain situations. I've definitely noticed that.
Yeah. Yes. And then it gets lost in the thread. And then I'm like, I'll ask it again in a new way. And it's like, is it really helping, or am I just living here and not here, trusting my body, which is going to tell me what feels right or doesn't feel right?
It's really interesting right now being in school, and obviously there's tons of trainings about how you can and cannot use AI at college, and I'm sure in every school. But it can be so helpful to take your thoughts and help you organize them so that when you're writing a 30-page research paper or whatever, you're like, these are all the things I need to say. What am I missing? You know, I'm brainstorming. And then so in the classes, they'll say, like, I go to University of Arizona, they'll say, that's great. Use it. Brainstorm. Think about what you want to say. Help it narrow down so that when you go to present your thoughts and your research, you're covering things that you want to cover. However, I mean, obviously, if you are not actually writing it, or especially if you're relying on research that it suggests, it's not even always real. So when I applied to the Dream Studies program at Sophia University, she's a woman, interviewed me, and she said, you know, there was somebody in another country that was in this program, and they submitted research by me. So she had written books on dream studies, and the titles of the books weren't even real. The research that said that quoted as her being was not even real, and he submitted it to her grade. Ouch, right?
That's so bad.
And so she just said, you know, those are really good titles, and I wish I had thought of that, but it's not what I even wrote, you know? And then she said, I would way rather read something that came legitimately from that person's mind and their thoughts on consciousness and dream studies and archetypes and all that, than just to read the same thing everybody's reading on the internet about pre-existing ideas or thoughts. And I just thought that is and same thing. I will go to AI and I'll say, suggest, because I'll get all my articles suggested in my school and I'll research on my own in the online libraries, but I'll say to ChatGPT, suggest 5 more articles that I can see. I'll say, give me real peer-reviewed research articles that might fit well with my research. And it will suggest, and I'll click on them and go and see if they're real and if I can back up and read the study myself. But oftentimes maybe 2 of the 10 are real. So you cannot just assume that just because ChatGPT is giving you answers and research that it's even real. It's shocking.
I have something to say to all of that, but I saw this tweet it was a Substack note. It's kind of the same thing. It's like a tweet, but it said, why would I bother reading your work if you didn't even bother writing it?
Yeah.
I was like,
Oof.
So true though, because there's a lot of times that, I mean, I'm sure the internet's going to be absolutely flooded with AI. People call it like AI slop, right? But like, again, it's losing that human touch of someone grueled over this. Like, they worked so hard to write this article. And again, I think pulling the sources and doing the brainstorming, that's what I do with like my YouTube scripts and stuff, is like pull the sources. How could this outline go? But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm still the human, like,
Who went
writing
through
it and who
the
went
hard thing.
through it. Yeah.
Well, let's be honest too. It's going to get good enough that it's going to give all the right research. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
That's true.
I'm not even assuming that it's going to stop there. I think that it's going to continue.
Yeah.
And so what do we do when we have so much at our fingertips, but we're not intuitively thinking? It's almost like it's something to sharpen our minds, but we stay in the driver's seat.
I think it's also like a crutch or a Band-Aid in a way to make us feel like we're being productive. Because I always think back, when I think of intuition, I think back to my previous marriage, and I knew I needed to leave, but I would not let myself see it. Like, I lived in delusion for so long because I have so many times I got in my journal and wrote a pros and cons list. Do I stay? Do I leave? Do I stay? Do I leave? Do I stay? Do I leave?
If you're writing a pros and cons list, the listener, that might be time to leave.
So funny.
Straight up. I love that because I have so many. And and gosh, where was I?
Sorry.
No, it's so funny. It's honestly so true. If you're listening and you're thinking about it first and you're writing a pros and cons list,
That might be a sign.
that might be a sign.
Don't ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I bet people do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
But I was so like in illusion.
Yeah.
Like I knew when I would sit and get still or go to yoga, it was like, I need it. And then the second I like would get in my head and feel fear, it was like, but how am I going to make money? But where am I
It's
going to
the
live?
fear.
But yeah, and it like totally pulled me out of it. So then I get in this like kinked place and I'm like, oh, but I could stay because this, and it's not even for money or for anything. It's just like my brain would come up with so many things that I couldn't see clearly.
That's like the core of this, I think.
Yes.
It's the same thing you just described
Yes.
with my situation. When I feel too much fear, and again, if I'm not talking to a human about it, like, I feel like, I mean, my loving mother or my sister, like, they would be like, no, Brighton, you can do it. We see it, but also be from a grounded place. But when I'm coming from fear for a thing, and then I look at ChatGPT for the answers, it keeps me here.
Yes.
But then let's say I have one grounding conversation with a real human, then I can use ChatGPT as the infinite tool that can expand my work like crazy. And I think it's the knowledge of knowing I use ChatGPT to further my dream or to further something, but when the fear comes, like that's when the analytical mind comes in and then it like keeps you up here. I mean, you talk about that all the time in your course is fear keeps you up here.
We have to be in the body, and that at the end of the day, like AI doesn't have a body. AI has not walked 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
AI, maybe not yet, but like it doesn't have muscles and bones and that gut feeling.
Yeah, what do you think about consciousness in AI? Because there's truly like, it's called ASI, what is it? Artificial super intelligence, where okay, I saw this clip and this guy basically said AI is his god now because he's able to write out all of the problems he has in his life, write out all the things, and then ask a question. And then in 2 seconds, it goes, and like gives you an answer. And he was like, whoa. And I'm going to do a video on this too. But
yeah, I have thoughts.
Yeah.
He's still looking outside himself. Like, even God, this is going to be so controversial. If you're looking outside of yourself to God to fix your problems, like, yes, there's beauty in having support outside yourself, but are you totally negating the fact that you are also part God? Also super dang powerful? I mean, do you feel like that's controversial?
I think it is. Just because I know certain...
And I believe in God.
Stuff. Yeah.
I believe in God, but I don't believe God is only outside of me.
I also
It's
think...
also in me.
Even in... Which, granted, I'm not very much a... Oh my gosh, why is my mic like down?
I was looking at that.
That's funny. It's like slowly moving down. Hold on 1 second. I do have a thought to that though. I think the only reason why I'm saying in the Bible it talks about how, gosh, don't quote me, anyone. I'm a little rusty, but I do know it says like God will say, hey, like I will meet you and I will do these things for you. But also, like, you have to take the steps as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's in one way or another way of saying, like, hey, you can't, if you believe in God, right? If you believe in Christianity, let's say, like, there's still teachings of saying, like, God is still waiting for you to take the steps to meet him in this place, to help him. He will help you through your life, but you still have to be doing the things to take the steps to do it. You can't just say, like, please God, like fix my life and then sit and do nothing.
It's both.
Yeah.
It's both. There's God outside. I mean, it's whatever you believe,
Yes.
really. And if he wants to believe AI is his God, then that's him, and I wouldn't shame him for choosing to do that. But for me, I believe God is in everything. If God created everything, then God is in everything. And I actually want to read something. And Mom, I know you have something to say too to this. How about you say it while I pull this up?
There's just a lot of thoughts. I love that image. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a picture of Christ, and I haven't seen the image for probably at least a decade or more, but there's a door and there's no door handle, because the idea is that if you want to talk to Christ, you're the one that has to open the door from the other side. Kind of like he's standing there waiting and you have to take action, I guess. It's a beautiful image, but I believe we're creators. I believe that we are here to create our life. And if we turn that beautiful creation over to anything else, other people
technology.
or technology or whatever, it's you are not getting the experience, in my opinion, that we're meant to have, which is, what do I want, reflecting on that and creating it. We're giving up something that's so beautiful.
I feel like the most powerful people that have walked this earth, and whoever you believe has walked the earth, whether it's Christ, Buddha, I don't care, but like, they weren't looking to technology. They weren't looking to any human. They were looking inward. They were sitting with themselves, and the more still they could be with themselves, the more present they were, and the more that could come through.
And the more they almost, this is interesting, but they almost became leaders because they knew themselves and they were walking a certain way.
Yes.
So even if people are walking one way, let's say to loneliness, to turning to chatbots for connection, to whatever screen that's going to happen, or technology, it's like, just because most people are doing that doesn't mean that that's going to be the best thing to do.
And I always say, like, I'm wise, not for my knowledge of things, but for my knowledge of myself. Like, you probably can relate, like, the times I've been so whole from within and can sit with myself and trust my intuition and stand up for myself and set boundaries and use my voice, like, the times I have felt the most whole, I have felt the most knowledgeable too, because I knew what felt right in my body and what didn't feel right in my body. Yeah. I want to read a spiritual parable, and it's called The Divine Hiding Place, and it's been taught in many different, it's like a parable that has been taught in Christianity, in Hinduism, in Sufi, so I don't know how to say it, indigenous cultures. I'll share this same story, and this is like a summarized version, not summarized, this is the most common version. So it's called The Divine Hiding Place, and it says, long ago, the gods, or God, created the universe and placed divine power within it. But human beings began misusing it. So the gods decided to hide the divine spark somewhere humans wouldn't think to look. One god said, let's hide it at the top of the highest mountain. But then they replied, no, one day they'll climb there. Another said, let's bury it in the deepest parts of the sea. No, they'll dive down and find it. Another said, let's hide it on the farthest star. They'll find a way to travel there too. Then the wisest of gods spoke and said, let's hide it deep within them. That is the one place they'll never think to look. And so it was.
Wow.
And as we advance in technology, like, we are going to the stars. We are going to the sea. We are going to the mountain. But how many people are going inward?
Yeah.
I love that.
And you also said in a previous episode, like, the most successful people, if you look at their personal life, they're not running busy bee all day long getting things done. They're sitting with themselves. They're moving their body. They're connecting with their spirit in whatever form that looks like. That is where the truest consciousness and power lies. So I don't care how advanced AI gets.
Yeah.
And it could get really freaking advanced, but so can I.
I love that. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Well, let me look and see if there's anything else I wanted to touch on. I do feel a little like, oh, I said something controversial. Not gonna lie, I'm like, oh, that was scary, but that's okay.
I think it's so awesome to listen to all the different. I think it's a weakness when we just look at anything like this through one lens. And I love that, the Bible's brought up, Christ is brought up, Buddha's brought up, indigenous tribe, all of it. I think because we are a big world and lots of people and backgrounds, and I think it's really arrogant to think that one way is the only way to look at anything.
Yeah,
and
that's true. I think I'm only like the people who listen that disagree, but it's like how many people listen and are like, whoa, I feel seen.
Yeah. Also, too, I mean, to touch on what I touched on in the beginning, it's like, that's literally the thing I'm fearful of, and the thing I need to get over is saying my opinions
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
Like straight up,
Yeah.
I have looked at the people I admire the most, and even if I don't agree with everything they say, I admire the people that stand for what they believe in,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah. And it's like the quote that's like, you either want to be repelling people or pulling them in. You do not want to be in the middle.
Yeah.
You do not want to be the person that's like, everybody, please like me. It's like, I don't want the people who hate on people or gossip. I don't want to be calling them in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Last night as I was sitting with this episode, I was just in the shower and I was just thinking like, what do I want to come through? And a metaphor just like popped in my head so quick. And it was, if you're in a crowded room and a lot of people are talking and there's multiple conversations going on and there's maybe a movie playing in the background or music, like there's so much happening in this room and someone whispers in your ear, can you hear it? No. And if that's what your ChatGPT looks like and all this AI blaring, but if you're in a room and it could be loud, but you're taking a moment to step away, just around the corner even, just for a moment, and someone whispers to you and you're just tuning out all the different conversations, you're going to be able to hear the whisper being your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And all it took was one step around the corner for 1 second to hear the whisper.
Okay, so I have to ask the listeners a question and ourselves, and you don't have to answer this out loud, but what is the one thing that your intuition is telling you over and over again that you're finding ways to block out?
Questions. I love
I
that.
just took your
Good,
question.
Good.
What is it? I mean, I think that's a great place to start for any of us.
I feel like people know too.
Yes.
People
like-
know.
As soon as you get advice, you're like, I
What are you
know.
talking to ChatGPT about all day long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you probably already know.
Probably already know.
And I feel like we turn to ChatGPT, we turn to anything outside of us for the answer, but we make decisions out of feeling, like not just logic. It's also a like instant feeling,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes we want the certainty or like the validation of the feeling. But what's the like initial feeling you get?
Well, is it the initial? The initial probably in the last second, but that tells you something. What's the initial gut feeling or heart leap that you feel? And then there's all this noise. And then right before you push go, it's like that, it's that jump. That's not AI. That's your intuition, that last second feeling, no matter how pragmatic, logical you are at that last second before you push go. I think it still comes back to your intuition, which is awesome.
And I feel like people get scared right there and they're like, oh, this is a reason not to do it. And it's like, okay, are you making that all of a sudden in the moment, like as a panic button? Or did it come to you like, I should do this and it feels freaking scary, but I have that feeling that I should do it.
And I feel like if it keeps coming back, it's that there's actually another like quote that uses God, which is funny, but it says God wouldn't let you miss something that is
Meant for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that. And even if it looks different than you thought it was going to be, that lesson or that experience will come back in another way to experience. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. So to wrap it up, let's share a tip. And I'll just leave it up to you as to what the tip needs to be. I think my tip is going to be we've talked a lot about ChatGPT. I guess the episode is about AI. So before you're using the internet, doesn't even have to be ChatGPT, the internet or Instagram or
Tech.
Yeah. Before you go to Google something, pause. And you can still Google it. You can still search exactly what you were going to search, but just pause and ask yourself first. And even if the answer is, I don't know, that's okay. I just want people to practice pausing before they're just jumping to look outside themselves. It's like, what feels right in your body for what to eat for dinner? Oh, maybe it might even help you ask your question even better when you look it up.
I love that, the pause. Ooh, I did not think of something ahead of time. Okay, let me think. If I were going to give some thoughts. Being aware of using AI, whether it's, and there's a million, Gemini, Claude, like so many, Even Grammarly, right, is AI editor. And I use that to help with my writing. It's a tool, same as a calculator is a tool. And back in the day, people used to say, well, why are we letting the kids use calculators I remember that.
Yeah.
They can't use calculators in school. That's taking away so they're not learning. Where actually what things have been able to happen in our advancements because we have calculators. So it's not a bad thing. It's a tool, just like the internet, just like the phone, and now it's AI. So my tip would be being aware of if it's a tool in the toolbox or the whole outfit we're wearing and everything that we're doing.
So
The whole house that we
Yeah.
build with the tools, is that AI or is it the toolbox you pull out to assist you?
Mm-hmm.
Just reflection, I guess.
I love it.
I love that. I think mine honestly coincides with that pretty well. It's I've been learning a lot more about I've been wanting to be a better writer and reader as well. So I think I would just say to the listener, like, this is going to sound funny, but write a paragraph of something you're thinking about or a mini essay or anything. And it could either be like an opinion piece on something you're learning about, or it could be something you just learned and so you're like rewriting it to see what you actually know. Because I think I saw this YouTube video that says reading is dead because of AI. And it talks about how it was actually responding to a tweet saying like, hey, you can just look up a whole book and look at the summary of the book. But the whole
You
point,
didn't feel it.
exactly, the whole point of writing the book or reading a book or writing the essay or reading the essay is the experience and the
Yeah.
journey within that. And so, yeah, I think that's my tip is reading and or writing more without Grammarly, without editing,
With your hand.
with your with your hands even better. There's a lot of research to show like you when you do things with your hands, you learn. Yeah. That's my tip.
Can I say now that like even though I can't see very well what I write anymore, I still write it.
Yeah.
So like in my traveler's journals that I love, I write and I write and I write and I look at it, and as I'm writing it, I can't see all the letters, and it's still important to me to write it.
Yeah.
Because it's that slow contemplative thought, that the process that happens along the way, just like you're saying. I love that.
And sometimes I can see, but sometimes when the lights are off or if I'm out in the dark, like I'm still writing, and it's not even to keep it, it's just to get it like written. And then I just throw it away because it's like scribbles by the end in one spot, but it still is so cathartic.
Yeah, and I think it's also what I'm also saying along with these is because then you can start to know what your own opinion is on things, you know, because it's like you can ChatGPT something, a question or a news, whatever, what's happening. But it's like the whole thing when the internet and when information is so abundant, what's going to be scarce is a true opinion on something and being wise within like the nuance of it all. And so I think it's almost, like writing a mini essay on what you actually think about the thing. And that's what I've at least noticed with my own stuff is like everyone can sit here on a podcast and say, this is how you be healthy, which is amazing, obviously. But at the end of the day, it's like, what's the nuance or the opinion behind it and the energy behind it?
Experience.
Yeah, the lived experience. Like that is what you need to develop more because one, you could create better things using AI if you have the taste.
Well, and personality.
Yeah,
Think about,
yeah.
you guys don't, you don't have kids right now, but it's like, think about a world where your kids, and I just want you to reflect on this for a second because it's something I had to process as a mom when the internet came out and everything. Think about a kid, your child that has access to all of these things, and you want, one of the most beautiful things that I love about parenting or mothering is to see my child's personality develop. It's so fun. And to see what they grow into and what they love and their natural things that they gravitate toward. And the same beautiful child that you have is going to have access to so many other opinions. What would you hope for your future child to be able to do in that scenario? of having so much information and also helping them develop their own personality.
I think I know exactly. Sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
think I know exactly what it is. It's all of what we've been saying, but
Yeah.
it's having an opinion. Isn't that funny? It's like having an opinion on what they want to wear and sticking with it, or what sport they want to play and sticking with it.
What they want to eat for
What
dinner.
they want to eat
Yeah.
and stick, like, because then whatever they're meant to do with the technology that they have at their fingertips, they're going to be so much more clear with how to use it, rightfully so, and how to have boundaries, but then how to like expand with it. And I think that's what I'm finally learning about myself is like, now I know what I want to kind of do. Okay, now use the tools that are provided to me to do the thing.
I think for me, it's knowing how to tune in. Tuning in does create the opinion. Like, I want my kids to know how to ground and to play in nature. Even in a computer world, I still want them to know how to sit in the mud. Because in that time when they're playing, for me, when I play, that's when the most is coming through. Like, yeah, in stillness too, but like when I'm playing and not in my logical brain, then the creation just like flows through me. So yeah, that's a good question though.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to live through. I just feel grateful to sit here and listen to
scary.
you both, that like it was a scary thing for me, and you are both such beautiful people, so it can happen. I don't want to be so doomsday that like our kids are in big trouble, It's a thing, like it's a thing to be aware of, but I think people are resilient, and we can find ways to navigate with each other's help in the real world.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's what's most important. Like, talk to people, connect with each other, because we're the ones who have lost people we love. We're the ones who have gone through divorces or moved across the country. Like, ChatGPT hasn't done that.
It's just
And-
mimicking
Yeah.
what you have done.
And the definition of knowledge, I know I've said this on the podcast, is to experience. You can only know about something unless you've actually lived it. And that is where true knowledge comes in, and we can only, ChatGPT and all these things can only know about it, but they haven't lived it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good combo.
Yeah, did we mention the book
we
list?
didn't. So in the show notes, we have a book list that has all of our favorite books that we've used to
Live in this world.
live in this
You
world.
should read the whole book instead of have it summarized.
Honestly, yeah. But there are some really good ones on there that are about all aspects of health. Some about grounding and spirituality, some about like nutrition, some about mental state. I don't ever know what to say. Mental performance. What I'm working on. But yeah, that's in the show notes.
And Kinley, thank you for being such a good example of being aware of intuition and speaking out about it in your work. And everything you do with travel and your videos, everything really, it comes back down to that message. So I'm grateful to have that reminder from you all the time.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Yeah, maybe that's also in the show notes. I have a course that is literally to teach people how to listen to their intuition. And then I take people to Costa Rica to teach them what it feels like to live in alignment with their body and their intuition.
And it's the best.
Like, I'm very passionate about it. So until next time.
Yeah.
Bye.